For a class I took this spring, I ended up learning a lot about the invasive European green crab. And one of the most surprising things I learned about it was how little most people know about it. You see, they're one of the most damaging invasive species in the world. They're native to Europe and North Africa, but they're invasive in North America, but most people don't really know anything about them. The most important thing that most people don't know about them is how to identify them. Apparently, from what I've heard, a lot of people identify what they think are European green crabs, but they're actually just native crabs here in the Pacific Northwest. I've heard about people thinking that Dungeness crabs are green crabs, or thinking that rock crabs are green crabs, or even thinking that kelp crabs are green crabs. There was one story that sticks out to me that I heard from an oyster farmer that I talked to for part of my research project that I was doing for that class. And he told me a story of one of his employees, who's, a guy who works on the water all day, showing him a kelp crab and thinking it was a green crab. I'll put up a picture of the two up here. They don't look very similar. They really don't look similar at all. Totally different crabs, but this guy, who would presumably be working at least in the vicinity of crabs for most of his work, didn't know the difference. And that's kind of a problem. A problem not just because, people will misidentify crabs and look kind of foolish, but because it prevents management strategies for containing or reducing the numbers of European green crabs from really involving the public, because the public, being generally unable to reliably identify them, can't really be trusted to remove green crabs because they'll end up accidentally removing native crabs or releasing green crabs because they can't properly identify them. And this is my solution to that, which is to tell the internet how to identify them. It's very easy. You can identify them by their shape. None of the native crabs here in the Pacific Northwest are shaped like a green crab. A green crab has a fan-shaped carapace, and this is the most important part, they have 5 spines on either side of their eyes and 3 small bumps between their eyes. That's it. That's all you need to know to identify them. No other crabs in the Pacific Northwest have 5 spines on each side of their eyes and 3 bumps in the middle. None of them even have just the 5 spines, so really that's all you need to know in order to identify green crabs. If it has 5 spines on each side, it's a green crab. If it doesn't, then it's not. Although you'd think they're probably green based on the name, it's actually not at all a reliable way to identify them. They can be yellow, they can be red, they can be green, but they're usually like a brownish green. It's just not reliable. A better name for them is a 5-spine crab. Some people call them that. Most people call them green crabs because that's the more popular name. But 5-spine crab is a less common name, but much more descriptive. Now that you know the basics, the shape, 5 spines on each side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 dots in the middle between their eyes, and then 5 spines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you tell the difference? Put up some pictures on screen. Here's 2 crabs. Which one's a green crab? Alright, here are another 2. And why not 2 more? Which one's a green crab? Did you get it right? If you did, good job. You know how to identify a green crab now. If you didn't, just remember the rule. Count the spines, and that'll tell you. Native crabs have either more spines or fewer spines, or even a totally different shape, like kelp crabs. So if it's 5 spines, it's a green crab. It's really that simple. Thanks for watching. Share this video if you found it helpful.